Good evening and a warm welcome to another edition of the Smuggo and Brooksy show. Another week's gone past and it's been an interesting one. It's definitely been an interesting one. Liverpool kind of slipped up yesterday away to Aston Villa. Kind of left the door a little bit open for the Arsenal. So we're going to discuss all things Arsenal. We're going to discuss the title race. We're going to discuss Liverpool. We're going to discuss Arsenal women. And yeah, we're going to discuss the weather as well. Actually, we're not because the weather's shit. And I'm not willing to discuss it. But yeah, we're going to discuss everything else. So first and foremost, going to say my good evening. So I don't know if Jonathan's still there. He's kind of frozen at the moment. Are you there, mate? No, I don't think he is. So we're going to say one welcome to Jonesy. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Doing all right. Half term, so the kids are driving me up the wall. But yeah, weather shit. Can't take them out anywhere, so just chain them to the radiator. So yeah, it's all right.
It's an awful month, February, isn't it? I'm just going to put it out there now. It's an absolute awful month all around February. I'm not even sure March is much better, but do you know what? We're 1 month closer to the summer in March, so yeah, roll on the 1st of March. Good evening to Brooksy. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yes, I feel the half-term pain. Just like Jonesy, I've just come back from 5 days with the stepson. See, so I'm back to work tomorrow. Yeah, the weather was all right in Norfolk, to be fair. It's quite sunny. Yeah. It's only when we come out today, the weather was crap. But yeah.
So you've
nice.
decided because you're gonna come home, you're gonna bring that weather home as well.
Well, I did try, but it got stuck somewhere in the Dartford crossing.
Yeah. That's not a surprise, mate.
Oh, no, it's a nightmare. There's nothing worse when you're driving home following the sat nav and you're getting closer and closer to home, but the time's going up and up, and you're thinking, yeah, it's annoying.
And you think you've got away with it halfway home, don't you? Especially when you're coming from where you've come from. You think, I've got halfway home, I've got away with it, and then bang, something happens.
Yeah, no, it's a nightmare. Yeah, and there was a horrible crash on the other side. The road was shut off, and there was a car that smashed into the central reserve. Didn't look too nice, but is what it is.
Well, that's one major consolation, but I hope everyone's okay.
Exactly.
And enjoy your sweets while you're at it.
Well, mate, don't worry.
And we'll go again. Good evening to Jonathan. How you doing, mate?
How are you, Liam? How are you, lads? Great to be back on again. A glutton for punishment week number 3.
Yeah, you love it, didn't you?
3 weeks of dealing with me, mate, ain't easy. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Try and be the missus.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Aging like a fine wine.
Well, something like that, mate. Something like that. And a good evening to we got Mr. Belk in the house. Jesus, look at that.
Donald Trump had him kidnapped, but there you go.
Look at that, Mr. Belk. How you doing? We'd love to get you back on the show one day, mate. So good to see you on here. And one that always does make me chuckle. Old Kermit's middle finger.
Who the fuck's that?
Mate, first time he come on, mate, I was in absolute tears when I say that. He's a legend. Kermit middle finger, hope you're good, mate. Good evening to you. And yeah, good evening to everyone else who's watching the show. Anyway, we're going to go into the show now and obviously discuss the Saturday's game at Leicester, which was a half 12 kickoff. And let's be honest, even though we knew we needed the 3 points, even though with the news of Havertz obviously being out for the rest of the season, it wasn't a game to be taken lightly, was it, in terms of the discussions that we had last week? And the game proved very much like that. For 80 minutes, we didn't look like we was going to do anything. And then our super sub come on. How can I describe it? In our hour of need, we brought on Mikel Merino to play up top, and he banged 2 goals in 7 minutes. Absolutely superb. We won the game 2-0, and obviously, hopefully now we'll go into Saturday. Hopefully he'll start up top, because if we're being honest, the performances for me of Trossard centrally and Raheem Sterling were absolutely abysmal for that 70 minutes. And I'm just going to go over. I'm going to go to you first, Jonesy, on this, because obviously you weren't on the show last week. Firstly, what's your thoughts, obviously, around Kai Havertz's injury? We'd like to get a bit of an understanding of how you felt the club kind of been hit with this. But as Gary Neville said, and I don't like agreeing with Gary Neville, but you can't really sympathise with the club, can you? In terms of obviously leaving us in this kind of situation with no strikers.
Now we basically got what we deserved. Basically, you know, as much as I'm an Arsenal fan, you kind of sit there thinking, well, you know, when your kid, you tell your kid, don't jump, you're gonna fall over, and then it happens, and you're like, good, told you it was gonna happen. You know, that's exactly what it felt like. So yeah, we've been bit on the arse. I knew it was gonna happen because I knew we weren't getting through the rest of this season without any more injuries, because them players on that pitch have been overplayed in my opinion. But it's devastating news because now literally we got what we had on Saturday up top, and to me, I don't know about you guys, but there wasn't no plan B. We still played the same way as if Havertz was up front. We still were trying to cross it in. We were still putting chip balls into Trossard, and he's not no 6 foot tall striker who can get on the end of these balls. And we saw when Mikel Merino did come on that we need that focal target man in the box. The way we play at the moment, that's the sort of striker we need. And, you know, and it proved and it paid off, to be fair. It was a gamble because I was like, what the fuck? But then again, that's all we had to bring on, weren't it? So it paid off in the end. But yeah, with the Kai Havertz situation, as blunt as that can be, we've got what we deserve, to be honest. And there's no Arsenal fan that can sit there and say, oh, but this, but that. No, the club chose not to buy in January. The club chose not to back Arteta. The club chose not to back the rest of these players who have played their asses off all season. And we just got to hope and pray now we can, you know, scrape these wins together. As Brooksy was saying, scrape a 1-0 win against West Ham, scrappy as much as it'll be. But I'm still... people say we're in a title race. We're in a title race, don't get me wrong, but we've got one leg. Right? And Liverpool have got two. So that's how I feel at the moment with the old title race.
It is an interesting one, isn't it, with the title race, because we were sitting here just a week or so ago when, obviously, was it a week or so ago or 2 weeks ago, when Liverpool played Everton, and we were sitting in the 97th minute, like literally saying to ourselves that it's pretty much title race is over. And then in the space of the week, Everton scored a 98th minute equaliser. It was a very subdued performance against Wolves for Liverpool, I thought. Second half, I thought, yeah, I thought Wolves were very good all game, and I think they just kind of didn't have enough to kind of obviously get themselves back to 2-2, apart from Cunha, which was a shame, really. But they go into yesterday's game, and do you know what? I don't think it really, like, I look at this result, and I'm going to go to you on this, Jonathan. I don't think it really matters whether it was a draw or a win yesterday, because when you look at 4 points into 5 points, it's different from being 5 points into 6 points. Because when you go from 5 points to 6 points, actually, we need more. But do you know what I mean? Because they got the goal difference as well. But with this being 4 points into 5 points at the moment, I'm quite comfortable that it was just a draw yesterday. Obviously, I would have wanted Liverpool to lose the game, but I think when you start looking at Liverpool and you start looking at their 2 away games, they don't like night games either. I've kind of realised in the Premier League they drew Nottingham Forest away as well. So questions are being asked of Liverpool. Last season they filtered away. I do think they're one injury away from Van Dijk and Salah to having a big problem. Do you get this feeling, Jonathan, that like they're not Man City? They're not Man City who are going to go and string 12 wins on the spin. You know what I mean? They're not going to do that. I think this team can tire. I'm looking at their fixtures, and I'm looking at Chelsea away. I'm looking at Brighton away. I'm looking at Fulham away. I'm even looking at Newcastle at home. Do you know what? I'm even looking at Crystal Palace at home last game of the season. Now, you might laugh at me, but Palace went up there and beat them last year.
Yeah.
Went and beat them last year, and they're a decent side to go away from home and upset the apple cart. This title race for me is still open, but my concern is that Arsenal potentially could drop around the same amount of points at the moment, and that's my concern. It's not that Liverpool can go and win all the games. I feel like at the moment they're going to slip up, but with us not having a recognised striker, I just feel that we're going to have games. And I look at next Tuesday's game, for example, Wednesday, Nottingham Forest, that being a big game. That is a big game. That next week, right, for me, will determine where this title race is. They've got Newcastle at home. I know they got smashed by Man City, but they won't want that happening again. We've got Forest away. I think next Tuesday and Wednesday could be a telling point in the title race.
Yeah, even Sunday's game, I think, against Man City away, you'd hope City would put a bit of a fight against Liverpool, you know. But with City out of the title race now, I think hand on heart, you know, it's just the forward. Like Liverpool have been so lucky; they haven't had any injuries like we've had all season. You know, 2 players to each position. That's of the same quality, you know. And they've got a recognised forward line, which we don't have. No, it's last night. I don't know about you, but the last 5-10 minutes, Aston Villa could have sneaked it even. You know, they had 3 good chances that nearly went, you know, from the 80th minute onwards. They were kind of hanging on. Yeah, that's like when you look at if they're missing Van Dijk, as you said, Liam, Kwanzaa isn't of that quality, and Kanate beside him, you know, I'd still be out on him as well. You know, like when you compare Gabriel and Saliba for ourselves, you know, yeah, you know, like, and even, you know, only for really, you know, they really rely heavily on Alisson, I think, as well. You know, like, you know, he's such a top keeper, like Ray is to us. You know, when he gets injured, and you know, Keller's being a good backup, but you know, it's. I think like you'd assume that we'd beat West Ham at home, you know, on Saturday, but you can't take anything. Like they're in a relegation battle themselves, and
yeah,
like when you're at the top, like Liverpool and ourselves, all the teams below you all want to beat you, don't they? And they all have something to fight for themselves. So I think, but I definitely think if we're still in it up to the international break, I think the Chelsea match, isn't it, before the break comes along, if we're still, you know, 4 or 5 points still, you know, behind Liverpool, you'd fancy us in the second half of the season if what's left of the remaining fixtures, if we can get Saka back, you know, from injury from April onwards. I think, to be honest, I don't know about yourselves, but I think I'm kind of going on the side of I hope we can go forward in the Champions League. You know, I think the Champions League was more achievable, I think, than the Premier League at this stage. You know, if we can get past, I think it's going to either be PSV or Feyenoord, I think, in the next round. If we get past them, you can kind of start dreaming, can't you?
Yeah, I think obviously Champions League. We know that we're either going to get Feyenoord or PSV now, which obviously is quite surprising. At the very least, that both the Italian sides have gone out, isn't it? And when you look at it, I think you don't want Juventus or AC Milan because of the name more than anything. But these ain't teams that were the teams of 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
I think with the Premier League, like you said, I think obviously Sunday's game's massive. I think if Liverpool go and beat Man City Sunday, then do you know what I mean? That's a big statement, isn't it? That is a big statement, and the confidence that run through them for that. But I'm just not sure, mate, that I think Liverpool are losing energy in that tank, as such. I think they've played a lot of games now. They're playing every for 3-4 days like we was. And the games are getting bigger and bigger, aren't they? Like Aston Villa was not an easy game. To be fair, we drew them 2-2 at home. They drew 2-2, so that kind of combats that result a little bit. But I see this Man City game Sunday. Like I think Man City have got a lot of pride at stake Sunday, if I'm being totally honest. They've just been kicked out of the Champions League by Real Madrid. Whether it's not unlucky, because at the end of the day, that they put themselves in that predicament to go into a group stage, and unlucky for them, they pulled out the very best team probably over the last 10 years to draw against. So it's not unlucky. That was down to them in their group stage games. But I just think that this team on Sunday, obviously Haaland didn't play yesterday. De Bruyne obviously didn't start either. I look at Man City Sunday, and I think there's a lot of pride at stake. Do you know what I mean? They got battered by Arsenal 5-1. They're either hot or cold at the moment, aren't they? But I think that Sunday, I really do think Sunday that I think they're going to be up for it. I really do think they're going to be up for it, because these players are going to have a lot of pride at stake. They've had loads of intense battles with Liverpool. They lost to Liverpool at the start of the season. They've come out of the Real Madrid game. They've lost to Arsenal. They've got to stand up with Man City on Sunday. And it's a big moment for them as well, because let's be honest, right? They will probably finish up in the top 4, but it's not concrete at the moment whatsoever. So they need the points as much as obviously any of the other top four need it. And I just think that if Man City can start well Sunday and get the first goal, I fancy them to win. Do you know what I mean? I do fancy them to win. I think the problem would become if Liverpool get the first goal on Sunday, because I think Man City will open up, and like we know defensively they're all over the place at the moment. It's one of them games, isn't it? It's one of them games. If they get a point, do you know what? It's another point. And if we get 2 points, we're 2 points closer again. Then it could easily come down to 3 points at that point. I just think, I don't know about you, John, but I just think that I do think they're catchable. But I tell you something, if we don't win the league, right, because we didn't buy a striker in January, it's absolutely astonishing from the club's behalf, isn't it? It's absolutely astonishing from the Kronkers, in terms of obviously Josh coming over, flying back with nothing. If we don't win the league, because actually Liverpool do kind of fucking tilt a little bit, and we could have overcome it. There's going to be a lot of disgruntled fans, isn't there, by the end of the season?
Yeah, definitely. We said this last summer after the Champions League games like Bayern Munich and like the league game was away in Newcastle with someone else. We huffed and puffed and we just couldn't finish. It's the same again. It's just madness. It's just, we're still having the same conversation. Even in the summer, me and you texted each other. Oh, do you think there's something in this Gigorish? It's gone quiet. Why haven't we signed him? As the Euros have started. Oh, no, we'll definitely get someone. And we end up with fucking Sterling and it's madness. Honestly, it's absolutely madness. I mean, Liverpool are definitely there to be got at. I mean, the signs were there after the Everton game, a local derby. Slot has already started getting very, very wobbly. I mean, we're waiting to see what will happen with him. Even some of these little comments he's been making all of a sudden, like, even after last night, moaning because Villa had fireworks and it started to get to him. Yeah, I mean, they were very lucky on Sunday. I mean, Konate should have been sent off. I mean, if that happens to us, Rice does that, he's off the pitch, Saliba does that, he's gone. They were lucky, they hung on against that. Last night, they were fairly lucky. I mean, the injuries are starting to come for them. Obviously, Gakpo was injured last night, and he's a big player for them, I think. I think he's an excellent player. He always chips in with a goal. He's a very reliable. And Salah, as amazing as he is, he can't. I mean, I know he scored again, but they're always looking to him to score. Diaz is very hit and miss. So is Jota. They are getting very, very twitchy. Their second goal yesterday was quite, deflection. I know you deserve your luck. But yeah, we just got to keep plodding them. As I said, West Ham are a funny team. They're like a box of chocolates, aren't they? You don't know what, they do enjoy playing against us. But, we just got to win. It's as simple as that. I mean, scrape past them. Scrape past Forest. Again, Forest have gone really weird as well. You don't know what you're going to get with them.
Yeah.
7-0 against Brighton and then lose away 5-0 at Bournemouth. You just don't know. We just got to... The good thing we've got going for us is like the Leicester game. I mean, Leicester are poor. But we were so solid defensively. We didn't do anything silly. So they couldn't create anything. And we just have to keep doing that and nick the goals. And just, 1-0, 2-0. And to see where it gets us. Obviously, after the Forest game, I think it's FA Cup next weekend, which obviously we're not in. So that's good. It's another weekend off for the players. And let them rest, let them sleep. Martinelli should be back after that. People will moan, but it's a pair of legs, fresh. Sterling will disappear. And then hopefully Super Saka will be back. So, just got to keep going. Just got to keep plodding along. And, just keep grinding out the wins and see what happens.
Like, you talk about obviously Martinelli returning, hopefully for the Manchester United game. You look at Man United's form this year, and it shouldn't concern me. But the problem is, we all know it's Manchester United versus Arsenal. It doesn't matter where the two teams are. Right? Man United and Arsenal play. The rivalry's there, isn't there? Where do you see Martinelli coming back into the fold? Do you see it being like in left wing? And I suppose the other question, John, is like what we haven't discussed yet, Mikel Merino. Can he do the job up there, or was he just that player that impacted the game for 10 minutes? Because, he had a brilliant impact and he scored 2 goals, but it's still a big ask, isn't it, to kind of expect this guy to then lead our line for like the next, I don't know, but at least the next couple of games at the very least, against like like decent opposition like Nottingham Forest, who are doing really well in the Champions League spaces. Do you know what I mean? Like their defenders, they've got a very strong unit as well. To be fair, with their centre backs, is it a big ask to be expecting him to come in and do that job?
Well, yes and no, but I think he thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, obviously it helps he scored 2 goals, and he's buzzing. I mean, why not? I mean, this is the sad situation we're left with. I mean, I don't know if he will start him on Saturday. I've got a funny feeling he may well go with the same 3 at home, but away from home, he could well start against Forest. Because like you said, Forest got a big defensive, some big beasts, and he's a tall lad. So, but yeah, no, I mean, fair play to him. It's a good header, and that's the second one was a great finish. Hit it on the volley. I mean, the way he timed his run, and he's obviously got it in him. And well, we're all laughing and joking at someone like Ben White or Calafiore who was going to go up there, but it looks like he's going to be the plan C or whatever you want to call it for the time being. Yeah, I mean, we just have to hope that Waneri doesn't get injured. Because obviously he was amazing Saturday. I mean, 17-year-old lad, best player on the pitch, and you hope he's going to do that on Saturday. Obviously, everyone will be excited to see him. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do, to be honest. I mean, do you drop someone after to score 2 goals and save the day? What do you do? Who would you rather have coming on to save the day? Trossard, him, or Sterling? And Merino's just scored twice. Sterling hasn't done shit all. So I don't know. It's yeah.
I'm going to let Jonesy answer that because I think it's a good question to ask, John. And I'm not going to answer. I'm going to let someone else answer it. So, Jonesy, what do you do?
Send Sterling back today. I'd use Merino. He'll be full of confidence, but I'd use him as a false 9. I wasn't using him as a striker. I'd have him as like the sitting back false 9 and have Trossard and Waneri on the left and right to get into the box and positions like that. But then if we're using him from the start, we've got no plan B. The plan B is Sterling, isn't it? And let's face it, that's not really a plan at all, is it?
Yeah.
Do you give the academy kids a go? It's just there's so many what can you do? It's just whatever Arteta does, it's not going to be the right call for someone or somewhere on Twitter, is it? So, I'm like Brooksy. For me, we've all played Sunday League or whatever. If you score 2 goals, you're starting next week. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like he's full of confidence. He's probably the only one who's finished in the last couple of games. Let's face it, Trossard and Sterling were dog shit on the weekend. They couldn't finish their dinners. But start Merino up there and see what happens. But like I say, it's just if it's going wrong on Saturday, and what's the plan B? That's the only thing.
Well, this is the concern, isn't it, Jonathan? It's all us sitting here going, we want to do this, we want to go well in the Champions League, but now we're relying on about 14 players at the very most, mate. Unless you want to account the 4 left backs that are sitting on the bench. Do you know what I mean? And I say that tongue in cheek, but this is reality, isn't it? There is no flexibility now. So if we want Arsenal to compete for the title, and we're expecting them to compete for the title, but actually we want them to really want the Champions League. Is it mission impossible? Because literally, we have not got the resource at the moment to flexi whatsoever, and to the point where we haven't even really got the players to bring on in certain positions.
Yeah, I think John has a point there as well. If we can scrape wins up to the international break, and hope April we get back, as I said, Martinelli, Saka, and the likes of Ben White and all, I think we'd be a lot stronger with 12, 9, 10, 11 games of the league left, but I think after what I saw on Saturday, Raheem Sterling, I think the best move Arteta done all game was taking him off. It proved that he's no longer an impact player at all, and I don't know about you, but every game I see Sterling, I just don't see the body language adding up to the Arsenal way. You just know that he's there on loan just for the sake of it because Chelsea didn't really want him neither. I just think he's the odd one out all season, and I think obviously the only reason why he's starting games is we've had such a bad injury crisis. But I think when he went off the pitch, we started kind of to liven up. You could see the team getting together. I think Trossard going back on the wing. Trossard definitely isn't a 9, or a middleman up front.
No.
Definitely not. I think the way Mikel Merino, even Alan Smith would have been proud of that header back in the day. The way he took that goal, he buried that header, keeper had no chance, and the left-footed finish was like Alan Shearer-esque, And he even said in the post-match, he says he even go and goal. I don't know what Ray might think of that, but there's a man, as Jonesy says, full of confidence after scoring 2 goals. You play in any position, like Saliba says, he's goal front. These players, they're willing to go to any position for Arteta, which is really refreshing. They're still buying into the project. But in terms of Sterling and all, I don't know about you. I might just throw it out there. Do you think that the young lads, Butler Adeje, is his name, is he worthy maybe of getting, not maybe a start, but to come off the bench, say, for the last half hour or so? What would you give him a chance, that young striker, yourselves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not really worse than Sterling.
Yeah.
But how can
Yeah.
Sterling be, nearly 29? And
Yeah.
this, I just don't get it. What an opportunity this is for him. He can be, New England manager. He can put himself back in the shop window if he don't want to be at Chelsea. He could get back in England team. But it's been absolutely shocking. And you've got a 17-year-old. I mean, he's been amazing. Completely embarrassing him. I just don't get it. I don't know what's happened to his attitude. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Because he's not as if he's not getting paid.
Ferry, for cutting across you, do you think Sterling has lost the hunger?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened. Yeah, just...
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Giving up. Yeah, just...
Yeah.
I
think
think
what a player he was. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I think with Raheem Sterling, I think he was a very good player when he was younger, but I think in some ways, right?
Too much too soon.
Well, I don't know about too much too. I don't know about too much too soon. Do you know what I mean? I just think, right, when he moved to Man City, right, he was around superior players, right, and he had a knack, didn't he, of being able to get into the box and score goals. But as Raheem Sterling really, really been a world-class player ever? Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? In my mindset, and I think when he got moved to Chelsea, I think he got found out, because actually you're not as good as you think you are, because do you know what? You haven't got a De Bruyne around you at the moment. You haven't got Rodri behind you at the moment. You haven't got players like the Agueros. Do you know what I mean? We're talking world-class players here. Leroy Sané's. Do you know what I mean? Like, Sterling is not on that level, and I don't think Sterling's ever been on that level whatsoever. And I look at him going to Chelsea, a team that was very mismatched, and it was the worst move possible for him at the time. And I thought it at the time as well. I thought, I don't know why he's done that move. I really don't understand why he's done that move. He would have been better, right, going to a Newcastle. That's the kind of move he'd have been better off doing, where he could be going into a team, right, that was pretty settled, do you know what I mean, on the way up and everything. But he went to Chelsea, that was an absolute car crash. And we see it with Havertz. But the difference with Havertz is, right, Havertz is a good player. Havertz is a very good player. Havertz, at least he worked hard. We could see it weren't working for him, but we could see that what he was putting into the team every week, we could see that he was trying his best, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he's trying to play his way back into form. Raheem Sterling, mate, do you know what? I noticed once on Saturday, right, and I've not noticed this often, right, and I mentioned it on the stream, on Ryan's watch along. Players were throwing their hands up in the air. And I've not seen that with Arsenal since the Ozil days. And I'm not saying because of Mesut Ozil. What I'm saying, that kind of era when there was a lot of frustration and players were, do you know what I mean? Like in certain games, they were just going through the motions. It was one of the first times the other day where I just see players throwing their hands up in the air. I could see a really big frustration within the team, and he's not to that level. He's not to the level of the rest of the team, and he's been found out. And like you said, he has lost his hunger. He has lost his hunger massively. You can tell that. I think he's lost his confidence. I don't think he's a bad person, Raheem Sterling, by any stretch of the imagination. I just think his confidence is at rock bottom. And I don't think he knows how to get out of it. And I don't think he's got the ability to get out of it. And we all want him to do well. We all want him to score a goal. I put my neck on the line and said, do you know what? Before the game, I think he might bag us one. Do you know what I mean? Because it's about time that he done something. But I just think that he's not as good as everyone thinks he was. He never was. And I think now, at this age, and with his morale being right at the bottom, like, here's the question to you. He come out in the summer and said that the Chelsea man, he said he's been at his fittest ever at 29. That come out of his mouth. That come out of his mouth. That's your fittest ever, mate. Jesus Christ, that Man City team was bloody carrying you for fucking 5 years then, weren't it? Because as it goes, why would you come out of a statement like that? Why would you come out of a statement like that? Do you know what I mean? Because you're going to get exposed, mate. And that's what's happening. And that Chelsea manager must be laughing his socks off, mate. Must be absolutely laughing his socks off because he's sitting there going, he tried to come out and say that I banished him and due to non-footballing reasons. Let's be honest, he banished him because he weren't good enough. And he knew that he wouldn't move Chelsea forwards. That's the reason why he banished him.
Yeah.
He knew that he needed better players and more energetic players and younger players to play them positions, especially a winger's position. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what? I'd rather have Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, I think, would be really good in this Arsenal team.
Yeah.
I think under Arteta, I think Jadon Sancho would be a
Yes,
really good player for Arsenal. I think he proved it at Dortmund. Do you know what I mean? Man United's Man United. I would have had him. But what we did was, right? We panicked, and this is why I've got a big issue with Edu. Right? We panicked. We didn't just panic on one player. We panicked on two players. And we brought in the two most dud players you could likely find on transfer deadline day. We brought in Neto, and I still can't believe the performance I watched at Girona. I can't believe it. I can't believe that he nearly got sent off for what he was going to do. And we brought in Sterling. That's why we couldn't go and get anyone. Do you know what? I think we'd have been right in the pot for Marcus Rashford in January. I think we'd have been right in the pot for Marcus Rashford in January on loan, and he would have come to Arsenal all day long. You can't tell me, right, that he'd have rather gone to Aston Villa than be in the title race. But what do? We went and got Raheem Sterling and Neto on loan, and we absolutely killed ourselves. So I do look at Edu, right? I do look at Edu, and I sit there and think, you're not in the club anymore. There's a reason why you're not here. There's a reason not, and you cannot tell me whatsoever, right? Mikel Arteta wanted Raheem Sterling.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Right.
He's definitely not a Arteta looking player. Yeah. I didn't get that one out, to be honest. You know, he just says when he comes off, even when he's substituted, you can just see his body language. Arteta doesn't even look at him. You know, it showed that shows just the interest. You know, he's throwing, as you said, Liam, he was throwing his arms up in the air Saturday, and like he was doing nothing to change it himself. Do you know what I mean? Like he's on way. I think he's on way too much money as it is. You know, and thank God we're not paying most of that wage because, I think Rashford was a big loss, wasn't he, in that January transfer window? We should have went after him. You know, we should have went all out for him because the last two games that I've been looking at against Ipswich and last night Liverpool, it's like him old self again. You know, he's got that yard of pace that he's bursting past fullbacks again. You know, he got that hunger back where we're looking at Sterling and his hunger is completely gone. You know, Sterling knows he's not going to be given a contract by us, so he's just half-arsed. I'll just limp over the line and, another nice fat paycheck for him, which is, we've had that with Aubameyang, but at least he provided goals. Sterling is providing nothing. He's not even providing assists, let alone goals,
His City stats speak for themselves because he had a great team around him.
Yeah,
he had a great team. End of the story. He had a great team around him. Yeah, exactly. As I said, he was a good player when he was younger. But that's where I leave it. He was a good player. He was never a world class player. He was never a player, not in my eyes, even close to world class. Do you know what I mean? Like when you look at that team around you, you're looking at that Man City team, even to the point where they had Fernandinho, didn't they? Like they had some brilliant players. And I think he had a good knack of arriving in the box at the right time. But he hasn't got that now. He hasn't even got that now. He can't arrive and when he does arrive in the box at the right time, he's got absolute zero composure and putting it in the back of the net. And I don't want to be overly critical because, as I said, I don't think it's an attitude thing. I don't sit and I really think, you know what, it's an attitude. I just think that he's lost it. I just think that he's actually just lost it. And you know what? He needs to. I'll stick to this. I'll stick to what I said. Not even Southampton would have him in their team at the moment. Not even Sterling assisted Everton's first goal. That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I was there at the game, right? One pass. It was one simple pass. Absolute one simple pass. But at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? This is Arsenal. We're talking about Arsenal going for a title race. We need our wingers scoring goals. We that's what we need. We need our wingers assisting, and that performance on Saturday from him and Trossard was the absolute dog's dinner for 70 minutes. Trossard, he's not a striker. He's never been a striker. He did because he went on the wing. What is what he can do? He's not a striker.
Yeah.
He's never been a striker. He's not a number 9. I watched him so many games play up front, right? And I'll tell you what happens. He goes missing. He goes missing because he doesn't get swallowed up, mate. He gets swallowed up. You get 2 decent centre backs on him. He ain't doing nothing. He's doing nothing. One area though. Now that's a player who, as I said last week, has got the world at his feet. Like this could end up being potentially our best players come through the Howend Academy. And that's a big statement. But I still stick by that statement. You look at that ball that he put in for Merino, and that is all him. Merino's in the right place, putting the ball in the back of the net, but that's all him. But let's be honest here, right? And I'm going to go over to you on this, John. He won that game on Saturday. If anyone was going to drag us out of that, he was going to drag us out of that game. He hit the crossbar. He hit the post. Do you know what I mean? He literally won the game. This is a 17-year-old. I don't think I've seen anyone since Wayne Rooney even hit the league like he's hitting the league. Do you know what I mean? And he's not even been given a massive opportunity up till now, really. He's flickered in and out of games because Arteta's managed him and he's managed him correctly. But he's ready to explode in it. I think he's ready to do a Wayne Rooney explosion.
He's just amazing. I mean, like I said, it's always a touch of the Steven Gerrard's, at Liverpool, dragging his team through, will to win. I'm going to get us there. It's amazing. He's 17. It's just ridiculous. 17 with fucking hell. You try not to get carried away because, in this country, you get a young superstar and then they try and destroy him. But, when Saka comes back, when everyone's got to play as well, I think, there's a good possibility now. If we even sign a winger in the summer, if he carries on the way he's going, why, when you could just go and buy 2 strikers? He could be that good. In some of his games, it just doesn't matter what game it is. Like the Man City game at home, he always wanted the ball straight away. He's telling, Odegaard and, Havertz and that, give me the ball. I want the confidence is amazing. And he's backing it up. His brain, his footballing brain, he's not doing anything silly. He's tracking back. He's working so hard. Some of those efforts is, take a shot on. You don't know what happened. That he was so unlucky with a couple of them. That cross was brilliant. He's done well. Arteta, he's looked after him. He had people like Mia Ferdinand coming out the other day. Oh, he should have played him when Odegaard wasn't there. Shut up. You weren't saying that a few months ago. You weren't saying shit all. But now all of a sudden he's come good. Everyone wants to jump in a bandwagon. But it wasn't, was he? But, Arteta knows what he's doing. The only problem is now that he's got to deal with, everyone's expected him to turn up. People were wonderful every week. And like on Saturday, Liam, as you'll know, there's the time he's got the ball, everyone gets excited, as they should. But, everyone has to, be mindful that, he's still only 17. And while he could still be wonderful, there are going to be a few games where he's going to... Because teams now know who he is. And is he now going to get the Saka treatment where they'll double up on him and just keep kicking the shit out of him? That's what they seem to do. So, I don't know. It's very exciting for him. The worry is... And we shouldn't worry because it's great for England. But if he carries on, he's going to be in the England squad very, very soon. And then you worry with the Saka situation, the burnout. He's just got to be well looked after because, as you say, he could be a player of a lifetime.
Yeah, like I think it's quite a few good points you kind of raised there regarding obviously himself. I think he's got something about him now. Like
what swagger.
And it was like what Rooney. Honestly, I really look at him. I really look at Rooney because, like, obviously the ages that they've come through the team. And maybe Rooney was younger when he was 16. But I look at one area, and I don't think he's going to be the kind of player who's going to get bullied around the pitch, mate. Do you know what I mean? I really don't. And I think I was speaking to someone the other day, and I said, like, I think, right, he will end up being. I'm not saying a number 9 in as I have as role, but I think he will end up being in that position. He will be in that position. Is he ready to play that position now? Not really sure. I don't think he is. If I'm being totally honest, yeah. I think you should leave him doing what he's doing because what he's doing out there is good enough. Do you know what I mean? He's putting balls onto people's heads. Like if he's up front, he's not doing that. So for me, he needs to stay out on the wing. The problem, and you've raised this, and I'm going to go over to Jonesy this. When Saka comes back into the team, which Saka will come back into the team, how do we attempt to accommodate to play them both? Because someone potentially could get shifted out to the left, couldn't they? Unless he decided at that point, do you know what? I fancy one area up top.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. I think he will still, when Saka comes back, I think as much as we won't want it, I think Namweri will take a back seat. And I think that's just to do with his age. And like we're saying, we want to be careful with him. But I expect next season, if he finishes this season really well, like to find a position for him somewhere. I mean, maybe onto that left. As we know, it's been a position that's, we could say, up for grabs because no one's really nailed it down. I don't think Martinelli has. I don't think Trossard has. You can't put Saka out on the left, no way. But maybe he could play there. Maybe somewhere in the middle, up top. I don't know. I don't know if I see him as much of a forward player, just his size and stature. Maybe it changes and that, but it's a good problem to have. Don't get me wrong. If we got Saka and Ranieri on the right, it's a great problem. But then, like say, where do we fit them in? Someone's going to have to chop and change. Does he go into midfield with Rice and Odegaard? There's so many options he can play. He's that versatile. He's got a great attitude. It looks like he's got a good head on his shoulders as well. Even from celebrating goals, you can see he's very calm. He's not like doing what some of these other teams' players are doing and, running up and down the pitch and stuff like that. Getting changed in a different dressing room, as some prick said as well. I don't know about that. But
very strange guy, Jamie.
Yeah. But he's 17 years old, mate. It's crazy. What? At 17 years old, I was sitting in my bedroom watching Baywatch. Fucking hell, and this guy's putting up performances of a lifetime. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But he's been brilliant.
Great days, James.
What a childhood. Look what he's missing out on.
Don't come in, Mum. Don't come in.
But yeah, some good points there. Some really good points there, Jones. I actually agree with you. I think there will be that little piece, won't there? Because we're going to kind of probably overplay him to what we thought we was going to play him over the next probably month or so. That when Saka comes back, it might just actually give him that breather, mightn't it? Say, look, just spent like, do you know what I mean? Going to come on in games still, but we're going to kind of rotate you guys. And like you said, like Jonathan said earlier on, if we do really well in the Champions League as well, which is what he's wanting, there's going to be a lot of games in there running up to it. In April's going to be massive. So if you've got Saka back and you get Martinelli back and you get him like in the same kind of wavelength with Trossard, actually, do you know what? It will give us that opportunity to give him that breather. But I'm going to go to you, Jonathan, on it because, like as we've all said, like performance on Saturday for me, I think it was nothing short of magical, especially when you start looking at the team performance and what he had around him. Like he dragged us through that game, didn't he? He literally dragged us through that game, and like this kid excites me so much. But do you think there's an issue that we can put too much pressure on him, or do you think that he's got that kind of I don't want to say laid back attitude, but he's got that attitude where it doesn't seem to faze him.
Yeah, it's like he's played, like all his life. Doesn't it? Like it's like he's been there for seasons. Kind of like Lewis Skelly. Nothing has unfazed him really. When he's especially that goal against Man City a few weeks back. The way he takes, and of course Saturday he looked really refreshed again from that little reset in Dubai. he was unlucky not to score with that left-footed swinger, that just went past Hermanson's post, and like he's good with both his feet, left and right. With that shot that he had when he outpaced, I think it was Christensen was the fullback for Leicester, and the keeper tipped it onto the post. Like he probably deserved a goal or two himself in that game, aside from Merino scored late on, and he had a typical cross. I think was it in the first half, right, just headed wide, very similar to the cross that he sent in for Merino for the first goal, so it's great, like with the interest that we have up front at the moment. It's great that we don't want to be over reliant on the kid neither and put too much pressure on him, but I think he's kind of loving it, isn't he? He's really in confidence at the moment, and look, if nothing unfazes him, and like we need him for the next few games and into the Champions League as well in the next few weeks. He's a great asset to have, and as Jonesy and John said, who do you leave out when Saka comes back? Where do you kind of fit him in? But it's a great headache to have for Arteta, isn't it? Like with all these injuries, at least he's got a bit of a headache, for when Saka does come back. But I'm really excited to see where he can go, come the end of the season, see where he goes with his assists and goals tally, and hopefully we get a cup in there as well before the end of the season. But like he can't be far. I think himself and Lewis Skelly, don't know about you lads, but as England fans, I say you're really excited when you see two young lads breaking through the Arsenal. It can only be good for Thomas Tuchel as well, And as Jonesy says, growing up watching Baywatch, if he runs like Pamela Anderson along the beach, we're in for good times, lads, down the wing. if we can reminisce about that weirdly like I done with Pamela Anderson, I'm in for a great few years ahead.
mate, all I'm going to say is don't sleep on Yasmin Bleeth whatsoever. Don't sleep on her.
No, I have to say I think we've unearthed two great talents out of Highland Academy, Liam, as you said, Lewis Skelly, and then really, like, I think of what's happened this season so far. That's kind of been my highlight out of the season to date. These two kids coming, and nothing's fazed them. And like Lewis Skelly made a few tasty tackles against Leicester. He's not afraid to put his foot in against established players, like players that have big reputations. He's not afraid to mix it up with the likes of Haaland and Bird. It really is refreshing to see these kids that are coming through nowadays through academies. They're unfazed by the whole occasion, and it can only be great for future generations.
And that, I guess the other thing, Jonathan, just to go back to you, like talking about Lewis Skelly, like obviously you mentioned about him. I think he's got a good chance of being called up to the England squad just because of the situation with the left backs within this country and over the last 12 months. But obviously he's going to need a breather as well, isn't he? Now we've got Calafiori. I potentially see that might happen in this against Forest. I think we might go with Calafiori at Forest. I think that might not be a bad option in terms of that game, because obviously it's going to be quite a physical game. But with Lewis Skelly, like, do you see him eventually moving into midfield, or do you think this is going to be his position for him moving forward, like this inverted left back role?
I think it's kind of like the situation with kind of Yuri and Timber at the moment. It's hard to know kind of what position kind of suits him. But he's got kind of. I think I could even see. I said it on the show last week and on my own podcast. Lewis Skelly could even kind of fit as a winger as well. He's got pace about him, and sure he can work on that. But kind of, I suppose, hand on heart, probably the centre of midfield. When you look at his physicality and his build, it's kind of like Timber now. Like he wouldn't be out of place if the likes of Thomas Partey moved on in a season or two. I'm hoping that we might offer Thomas Partey another season. I thought he's been really an unsung hero, as you said yourself last week, Liam, but it's definitely either fullback for Skelly, or even, I don't know about you, would you even fancy him on the wing? Because he's got a bit of pace about him, hasn't he? Like, and I'm worried.
I think,
I think, better than Sterling.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard, to be honest.
Sitting Neto on the wing.
Yeah, on the other side,
I think with me, I think that inverted left back role, I'd prefer him to stay in that role because I think it does give him the option of showing his midfield abilities as well because he inverts into midfield. He kind of gives that additional support. But I think let him grow in that left back inverted role for the moment being for the next few years, and then hopefully he'll be ready in about 3-4 years to potentially take on that DM role. I think that would be the kind of role for him. Do you know what I mean? Or it could even be the left 8 role if we're being totally honest. But I think let's just leave him in that role because I think that it like we're going to strengthen next year. We're like there's a lot of room, isn't there? Like already like Nico Williams, we're looking at Subamendi, obviously striker you'd like to expect next season. But so in reality, we're not really going to play him in centre midfield. In reality, we're not really going to play him on the wing. So I think do you know what I mean? If he needs must, you can play him. But I think just leave him in that left back role. Let him learn his trade for the next 2-3 years. Do you know what I mean? Like this was the problem with Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles should have realised, right? Like you was in the Arsenal team. I thought Maitland-Niles was a really good fullback. Do you know what I mean? I thought Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was as well. Another one who thought he was a centre midfielder, like Maitland-Niles, and you weren't. But you was doing really well. Both of you were. You was both playing for England. Like you was both getting in the squad. You were both winning FA Cups for Arsenal. And then what do? You kick off because you're playing in that role and then move to other clubs. And I know Chamberlain went to a good club like Liverpool and his career kind of finished because obviously injuries. But you look at Maitland-Niles and you think, mate, that you could have had that fullback role buttoned down. That could have been your role. But do you know what I mean? You overbelieved in yourself that you could do a position that you weren't ready to play. And I'm not saying that Skelly will be ready to play that position, but I just think that if he's going to get recognised and he's going to get called up into the England squad, do you know what I mean? Just trust Arteta, do you know what I mean? Because he knows what he's doing. And one day, potentially, I think he will move in centre midfield, unlike Maitland-Niles. But I'd say that will probably be good 3-4 years down the line at the very least. But we just got an unreal riches with left back. Funnily enough, I know what we joke about it with how many we got, but when you sit there and think, right, you've got Lewis Skelly. That let's be honest, at the start of the season, you never dreamed that we'd be having this conversation. You've got Ricardo Calafiori, who I think he's a bit of a live wire. Do you know what I mean? He can bang goals in. He just calls his chose, don't he? But I think we forget about Timber as well. Like Timber was starting left back for this team at the start of the season, and our best defensive performances were actually with Timber at left back and Ben White at right back.
Yeah.
So,
do you think Lewis Skelly, is he in the mould of an Ashley Cole? Do you think
he's a different sort of player to Ashley Cole in my eyes? But what I would say, he's much ahead of Ashley Cole at his age.
Yeah. And
what else I'd say is he's got more to his game in terms of what he can offer the team, in terms of the whole round package, in terms of being that. Like if you can be a centre midfield as well as being a fullback, that's a big thing to have, isn't it? That's a big thing to have.
Yeah,
Where Ashley Cole was just naturally a fullback, but he was the best left back we've seen in this country, probably ever, if we're being totally honest. Ashley Cole was that good. So he's got massive steps to fill. He won't. I don't think we should comparize them both because I think they're two totally different players, and the way they play are two totally different molds. But I think he can go on to have a really good career. And if he does 3/4 what Ashley Cole does, mate, he's laughing because how much we dislike Ashley Cole now, we can't argue, and this hurts me. He made the right move at the end of the day. Like how much it hurts me saying that. He went on 1 Champions Leagues. He went and won FA Cups. He went and won Premier Leagues. Well, what was we winning? Absolute fuck all at the time. So Ashley Cole, if he achieves 3/4 what Ashley Cole, even if he achieves half what Ashley Cole done, he's had a good career.
Yeah, there you there, yeah.
But I don't think we should compare them both whatsoever because I think they're going to be two totally different players in the way they play. Two totally different players. But what I do like about Skelly, I like that he's got that. Do you know what, right? Fuck what Jamie Carragher says. Do you know what I mean? I don't really care what Jamie Carragher says. I like seeing a player with a bit of arrogance. I like seeing a player display arrogance because I think if you display arrogance, you believe in yourself. The very best players have that arrogance. Thierry Henry, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get too above yourself. But, you know, I get good feelings about this kid that I just think that he's going to tick on really nicely for us, and I think his confidence in himself and his ability is going to take him very far. Just like Ethan, you can see the same with him. They're confident in their own ability, and that's a big thing to have. That's a big thing to have. Then we talk about Raheem Sterling, who's got no confidence, and then we're talking about two 17-year-olds that, mate. They're puffing their chests out, aren't they? While they're putting them Arsenal shirts on each week, but they're doing it on the pitch, mate. They're doing it on the pitch. They're making something happen. They're making the team tick. And how old are they? 17 and 18. It's absolutely unreal, really, when you think about it. That we got a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old playing in our first team, and we're in a title race. Where's that happened in any other team?
Yeah.
Like, the only team I can ever remember playing two players like that, and they still won at this age, was probably Rooney and Ronaldo. But they were fucking brilliant players. They were incredible players, Man United. But we're in a good situation. We're in a really, really good situation when we come out of this season, but we're not out of this season. And that's the frustrating thing, because actually, when we get out of this season, we've mustered 2 youth players into our first team. That can be brilliant. As has been said earlier on by Catherine, Max Downham, that's your next big project. Like, they're talking about like this kid's going to be like
incredible.
This could be the very top player. Like I hope he does the same thing. I've said like he's been on the bench now. I don't want to see him being rushed in too early. Do you know what I mean? Let him grow. Let him do what he's doing. But mate, we're in good hands. We are in good hands. We're in very good hands, and that's why the frustration is that. Do you know what? Coming out of this season, I hate to say it because I'm becoming that person, but if we do what I'm expecting us to do in the summer, I don't see any team competing with us in the Premier League. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Like, Man City might come good again, but that's going to be a big ask after this season. You can't expect them to go straight back to where they were.
Spend a lot of money to do it. But they've got the money, But
why are they spending that money? Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why they spend that money, because potentially they're not going to be spending it in about a year's time, because they're going to be like on a transfer embargo.
Nation League North.
Liverpool as well. Like, you look at Salah, he's looking to go. Alexander Arnold wants to go Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? They're 2 big players, mate. They're 2 players that bowed them out last night and got them a draw. Like, I look at if we don't do it this summer, mate, yeah, they're right. Then there's going to be a lot of pressure on that ball. But I think we will do it this summer. But we're in a good boat that we got these 2-3 youngsters coming through, and they really, really support in terms of strengthening that squad longer term. And when you think they will come out of this season, then both these players will probably play 20 to 30 games in the Arsenal team. That's good experience, and they're going to get a full summer this summer to be able to, and they're going to start games this summer. Do you know what I mean? They're not just going to come off the bench and start playing mixed around with like reserves players when we're playing some shit American team.
Mentioned a few teams are going to that stupid club cup thing, aren't they, as well? Like Chelsea and City and someone else. Last summer will be nice and rested. They're going to play.
But do you know what I mean? That's the difference. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be stuck over doing that. Liverpool are going to. I don't know what's going on with Liverpool this summer. I think it's going to be intriguing with them. But
they're going to be too busy crying because we won the league.
We are literally 2 to 3 players away from this squad being like pretty much like near to being where it needs to be. Near to being. I don't want to use the word complete, because I don't think you're ever complete. But you're talking about us competing at the very back end of the Champions League. You're talking about us being that team that's going to win the Premier League 2-3 times in a row. I mean, I honestly believe we're that close, and I think that's why there's so much frustration with some of the fan base that we haven't done what we needed to do in January. Because I think, if we don't win the league this year, we're going to look back on this transfer window, sadly. Because I'll stick by this. I don't think Liverpool are going to go and win all their games, and I think we'll look back at it and think, do you know what? That game we needed a striker. If we went and brought it, potentially it would have changed the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like Aston Villa last year, Trossard had a chance in the first half. If he scores that chance, there's a good likelihood we win the league that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breaks me out.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. But we're looking in a really good place coming out of the season. And me and James always talk
Who's
about
our game in
I don't
hand?
give a shit about the neason, the next season, because it ain't. We're in this season.
Yeah.
The game in hand we've got now. Who is that again?
Chelsea at home.
Chelsea.
Oh, easy. 5-0. Lovely.
Fucking don't.
Sterling scoring all of them.
He can't play, can he? He can't play.
Oh, no, that's good news. Yeah, that's all right. We'll win 6-0.
Neto be on the wing for that one.
Yeah.
Going ahead, though.
When's that?
So what's that? Chelsea,
it's-
16th, isn't
Yeah.
it? 16th of March.
Yeah.
It's
a
Same
massive
day as
game.
the final, the Carabao Cup final.
Oh, is it? No, right.
Yeah, so we're 1:30 kickoff.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Looking ahead though, obviously West Ham Saturday. Gonna go to you first, Jonesy. I'm not going for a score prediction, but West Ham caused us a big upset last year at home, so we own one for that. To be fair, we've given it back to them, haven't we, with that 6-0 and 5-2 win at their place. So we probably don't own one as it goes, but this is a game we can't slip up in. Is there any fear that we could slip up in this game?
Yes, there's always that fear. Potter's got them playing some sort of decent football. I mean, they haven't been too great last couple of weeks, but Paqueta's out, isn't he, for the next couple of weeks, which is a huge loss to them.
Where's your betting?
They got Kudos and Bowen, which is their main threats, but it's just tough to judge now, isn't it? It depends. We're at home. We should get the job done. It's just tough when we've got a depleted squad like we have. You try and look for where there's winners in that team, and you got Ethan, and like you say, but can he do it every game? And this is I agree with Brooksy. We're going to be expecting it of him. When there's the likes of Sterling, who are seasoned veterans, they should be the ones pulling this team on their back. But I think we'll have enough to beat them on Saturday. I can't stand West Ham, as I'm sure you're all aware, and obviously from last season when they bottled it against City. Another 5-0, 6-0 do lovely for me. Declan Rice, 4 goals. Stick your bubbles up your fucking arse. Lovely job.
Yeah. Well, that's the spirit. That's the spirit, mate. That's the spirit. Jonathan, what do you think Saturday? Are you confident?
I'm never confident when I'm watching us of late because I don't want any more injuries.
That's the worry, isn't it?
Yeah, they've one player that they signed in January, West Ham. I would have loved to see Evan Ferguson for us. For on loan. I think he has everything as a young striker, physicality, good in the air, left foot, right foot. But I think, I agree with Jones. I think we should have enough quality there. We've had a week to prepare, and West Ham, they haven't been great. They haven't had that bounce effect of a new manager, since Graham Potter's come in. I think they've only won one in the last 6-7 games, I think it is, or something. But it's their back line as well. Like, they can get at them pretty handy, and hopefully Flappy Hanski's in goal, and he can gift us a goal or two by misjudging the cross or something. But no, I'd actually fancy, to be honest with you, I'd fancy Ethan and Weary to get a couple here on Saturday. I think this game could be made for him. The way he performed last weekend against Leicester, his confidence is sky high. And as well as Mikel Merino as well. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he might start Merino up front and leave Sterling on the bench, because Sterling's really been doing nothing in games since he's, when he starts, he's been really providing nothing. I'd like to see Merino maybe up front from the start, but maybe he won't start. He might use him as a super sub again, but I think I'd go with a 2-0 in this one, Liam. I'd be very confident. A 3 o'clock kickoff, yeah, it's 2-0 for me.
Can you go over to you, John?
Yeah. So West Ham probably got even worse since Graham Potter's taken over, if that's possible. I mean, I don't want to, say that City and bite me enough. It should be right. The worry is, obviously, with the Leicester game, it was good in a way that it was away from home, because the longer it took to score, you worry at home if it stays 0-0 for this long, 80 minutes, the fans will be getting twitchy and nervy, and we can get an early. The worry is, of course, if West Ham score first, because I kept saying this on Saturday, if Leicester score, I worry that we'll score 2, which seems silly, but obviously, there's no striker. It's so, the worry is if they score early on, people will start getting twitchy. But obviously, if we score an early goal, the crowd will be well up for it. And say when Harry has scored it, the place will be bouncing, and you could see us going on winning fairly comfortably. But we just sound silly. I mean, Bowen and Kudos do seem to raise their game against us. But you can say that for most players. To be fair, they do enjoy a goal against us. I do rate Bowen. I'll take him quite happily. But you just got to keep them quiet. Like I said, Saturday defensively, we were very solid and didn't do anything silly. So, it's going to be a case of, it's the old classic, we score more goals than you. 1 or 2 goals should be enough. I do think we'll win. That's all, it sounds silly. Just pick off the wins. 2 1-0 wins in the next week, and we'll be absolutely bouncing. So, because Liverpool ain't going to win both. So, put the pressure back on them. See how they like it, because they didn't enjoy it Sunday. So, just win, and then back to them, mate. It's nice that we're chasing. The last couple of years have been horrible. We've been miles ahead, and it's been horrible. But no, we're chasing them. It's quite nice. Let them take the pressure.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like it's getting to the point of the season now where every game is a must-win game. I don't know. I think it'd be a tight game. I think at the moment, I think they have got players that can damage us. Like Jared Bowen seems to love a goal at the Emirates, so that's got to be a fear. Do you know what I mean? Kudos is a good player.
Yeah.
I think hopefully we should have enough, but the worry for me is if we don't score early on, and like I think you guys said it, I think John said it, like, and we're sitting with Sterling on the bench, and like literally there is no other impacts. That's where the problem is going to become, isn't it? That's where the fears are going to become, that actually we're not impacting this game. But that being said, like I think we should do them. I think we should do them. If we don't win Saturday, then I think you're pretty much kind of kissing goodbye to a title race, and that would be absolutely distraught after the wins that we got at Wolves, Leicester, and obviously Man City. So we need to go out and win, because what we need to do is go into that Forest game with some confidence. So the ideal situation is that we get a really good result against West Ham, because we're going to need to be our very best in Nottingham. They love a night game. They've got a great atmosphere, and for me, as I said, next week, take out the Man City game for Liverpool. I think this midweek coming up is a massive, massive week for both Liverpool and Arsenal, and I think we'll get such a better picture after them 2 games in terms of what this title race is going to look like. I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. I don't know. There's something telling me it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a tight game.
I'll go 2-0 again.
Yeah, be confident of 2-0. Yeah, I think we got the job done, yeah. 3 o'clock games kind of suit us as well. I haven't really seen us losing many 3 o'clock games.
It's always a funny atmosphere Saturday 3 o'clock though.
I prefer 3 o'clock than 12:30. There's just something about the 12:30 kickoffs. I just don't feel the energy's there. It's just something about them.
No.
I suppose you're not half pissed, I suppose, by the 5:30 kickoffs. Your blood is warmed up at that stage. Yeah, I think Nottingham Forest away though. If we don't win again that game, as Liam said, that's kind of the tricky game I'm looking at. Forest aren't dropping many points at home, really, are they? They've done quite well against big teams this season, so hopefully if you can keep Chris Wood quiet, which I think Gabriel and Saliba will do, I think if you stop them, you kind of stop Forest, don't you? He seems to be the main focal, so yeah, I think we won 2-1. I think it was very similar. I think it was the end of January last year. We went there and we won 2-1, wasn't it? Jesus and Saka, I think, got the goals then. So, I'd be happy enough with a 2-1 or even a scrappy 1-0. To be honest, I'll take a scrappy 1-0 to the end of the season if it wins the title, to be honest.
I think that's it, isn't it? You take absolutely anything this weekend. Yeah. I think actually, do you know what I think we can do? Set pieces, corners. I know that sounds a bit stupid because it's West Ham, but as it goes, we've kind of exposed them on corners and set pieces.
Yeah.
So,
Gabriel loves to go against him.
You
yeah,
don't.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
No,
like
no.
Gabriel Eder, or like you said,
Mm.
Willie
Yeah.
Saber. Wouldn't be surprised whatsoever.
Might have got a bet on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, looking ahead to Nottingham Forest, though. Quickly before we go, the final part is going to quickly talk about the women's game, obviously, because that happens Sunday. The Nottingham Forest games, obviously, during the week. We got 2 really tricky away games, didn't we, with Forest and Man United? What's the thought process? Would 4 points out of 6 suit you, or do you think like we have to get 6 out of 6 in these 2 games?
Need 6 out of 6.
Yeah, it's got to be 6 out of
I mean,
6.
4's not the end of the world if it's a point at Forest and a win at United. But if it's the other way round, yeah, Man United are fucking shit. It still really pisses me off that we lost them in the. How on earth did we lose to them in the cup? I mean, how? They're absolutely wank. I just do not get it. So that's the one. I mean, yeah, Forest is tough. But again, Forest are a funny old side. When I went to the home game, we beat them 3-0, and they were terrible. And we played well, but they had nothing. I didn't think anything of them. I mean, I'm still fairly surprised they're as high as they are, to be honest. I know that's how silly when they beat Brighton 7-0 the other week, but yeah, I think we'll be all right. They're a decent side, they're organised. But again, it's just doing the basics, doing nothing silly at the back, and just nicking a goal. And I think that's, it'd be lovely to win 3-4-0, but I just don't think it's going to happen with the attacking options we just haven't got at the moment. It's just about getting through. I mean, getting your Martinelli and your Saka back and praying that no one else has got injured and hoping to kick on for one, hopefully, special month in May. It's just, I mean, are we Tuesday, Forest?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Let me have a look.
I got a clue because I know Liverpool Wednesday because they're playing Sunday.
No, I think we're Wednesday.
Oh, yes, we are because they're away to Newcastle on the Sunday, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, are we on the telly? I presume or are they on the telly?
I think everyone's on the telly. Is it on Amazon or?
Yeah.
No, Amazon haven't got any more. So it's on TNT possibly.
TNT have all the games actually. Yeah, every one of them actually.
Go, then. That's good.
7:30 kickoff.
If we could bring the title down to the away game at Anfield, even, and we'd still have Newcastle and Southampton to come, then that would be the dream scenario, wouldn't it? Like to have it in our hands at Anfield, even, scrape a draw maybe there, and
yes, we can keep going. That's going to be the game, and that's going to be the one.
Yeah, isn't it?
We're due a win.
I'd love it to go down that far.
We're due a win.
I would. Yeah. And then again, it's like it depends, I suppose, how far both clubs go in Europe as well. Where does the priorities lie as well at that stage, isn't it? Like if we're both still in it up until May into the semi-finals.
Liverpool could have a lovely draw. Have you seen?
They could have Real Madrid or Munich, couldn't they? Is that right? Yeah. I think I was looking at that.
Good day. I didn't know that. I thought they were going to get
Barcelona.
it's
either Barcelona or Munich. Yeah, they've actually the rotten side of it if they keep progressing, which is happy days for us.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, isn't it, the draw? Who we get?
12.
We didn't find out what side of the draw we're on then. Is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is it looking like PSV, lads? Is it PSV we could get possibly?
PSV or Feyenoord?
Or Robin van Persie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it big time, won't you?
Actually, I might ask him to come out of retirement just for the last 10 games of the season. All's forgiven.
Yeah, we'll wind that with you.
Yeah.
So just on that, Jonathan. Just on that. So in terms of the draw, like we know we're going to get PSV or final. What does the quarterfinals and semi-finals look for us at the moment?
To be honest with you, I'm not quite sure. I think that's going to be more decided tomorrow. I think they do it, round by round, isn't it? I think.
We could get the winner. We could get the winner of Leverkusen if Madrid.
I think Inter Milan is on that side of the draw as well, are they?
I think we'd do them over 2 legs.
Yeah, they get. So Inter Milan get PSV or Feyenoord, and we get the other one. But I think then we go into opposite sides of the draw. I really don't know, to be honest. I don't know if we get. That's just how we don't want to be.
There was something that was telling me that I thought we might get them in the quarterfinals, but maybe I'm wrong there.
No, it all depends who we get tomorrow. I don't know why we just work this out beforehand. It's a bit of a...
We'll just wait till
Like-
tomorrow. Yeah.
The main question is, after the
We probably
Bayern
will.
Munich away leg last year, lads, when we lost 1-0, that gut wrenching, I think it was Kimmich's sword. Do you all feel, have we improved as a side that we can go past that stage again? You know, past that quarter-final stage.
You're saying
I
no
think-
because we didn't sign a striker. That's what we needed last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sadly
Um,
the injuries, his courses has. I think if we had no injuries, I think we could possibly go all the way. Yeah, because I think we've learned over the last 2 or 3 seasons how to deal with things.
that's naive.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that Sporting Lisbon games give us a lot of confidence in terms that we can go away from home now. I think
Yeah.
that's the difference maker.
Yeah.
I think without that game, I think that we was very much the same. But I do think another year wise, I actually think if we get Bayern Munich again, we should knock them out. I'll be very disappointed we're not
They
going
were
to say
very
again,
lucky
mate.
the other
I'm not being funny. They've got a good team, but we should have beat them at home. That was travesty. That we didn't go 2-0 up,
Should have done.
and then we.
Especially when they had no
exactly.
fans as well.
Yeah,
you know,
spot on. Yeah, spot on.
It was a
Very
typical
disappointing.
Arsenal kind of European performance, weren't it? Sadly. Oh, here he is, old Gav, hoping that we'll get battered on the weekend by the Hammers, but probably won't. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Not good to see your comments, but it's good to see you, mate. Yeah, I think another year in the Champions League. I think we're a bit more experienced now, but
Yeah.
I look at that. I look at it. You see, Man City. I wouldn't be worried about getting Man City at the moment because I think they're shit. But at the end of the day, they're still a big player. So obviously, glad they're out.
We can't get Man
Exactly.
City anymore.
So they're out. So that's one big team out. Juventus are out. AC Milan are out. Do you know what I mean? You're counting.
The only team I fear is Real Madrid.
Who else is
And
there? I
that's
think
only
Barcelona.
because-
I think Barcelona are a very good team attacking wise. I think.
On their day, they're very hit and miss. I mean, they were miles clear in their league, and now they're like a few points behind. At one point, they were like 12 points.
But
behind.
they got the capability of beating
But
Real
they're
Madrid
very
5-1.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, that's that. But then
Yeah,
we'll beat
exactly.
Man City 5-1.
So I do think Barcelona. I think that Barcelona will be there near to the end. I think they will.
And Liverpool, sadly.
But that's the thing, isn't it, with Liverpool? Like, that's what I'm saying about them, Tyree. Like, they'll always have to pay your Salahs. They'll always have to pay your Van Dijks. Is this going to creep up on them? Do you know what I mean? Is this amount of games? I hope they get far in the Champions League and then lose to Real Madrid in the semi-finals. Yeah, on penalties after 120 minutes with 10 minutes injury time.
We don't have Sergio Ramos to break Salah's shoulder this time, sadly.
Salah misses the last one.
But do you know what I mean? There's a lot of games to be played, and yeah, it'd be interesting. But I look at the big players. You've got to look at Liverpool because they're form this year. You've got to look at Barcelona. You've got to look at Real Madrid. You have to conclude Bayern Munich still, even though they luckily got through against Celtic. But you look elsewhere and you think, Inter Milan, I thought we was good enough that we should have at least got a point against them. If not, we definitely deserved a draw in that game. I thought we was fucking good in that game.
Should have had a penalty.
We should have had a penalty as well.
Marino that got punched in the head.
Yeah.
That's fine, apparently.
Like the Dutch team.
The
Dutch team shouldn't call us too much issues, I want to fault.
No.
What do I say?
I think Timber's brother plays for Feyenoord, doesn't he? So
did we go an extra time at PS3 once in Champions League? Do you remember that?
I remember when Alex scored for us and they knocked out in the 82nd minute. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Obviously, the women played the North London derby this weekend. Yet again, guys, Tottenham, Spursy, doesn't matter, mate. Whether it's their under 10s, their under 11s, their under 12s, their men's team, their women's team. Do you know what happened, Jonesy? They got battered.
Absolutely battered.
They got battered, mate. They got absolutely battered.
Silly Spurs with all that stupid hairdo. Who was that woman, by the way?
Oh, Neville.
Neville.
Yeah,
oh, Neville.
What the fuck is that? Yeah.
Lego head.
Five different goal scorers. One was an own goal. Happy days. But Jonesy, just go with you on this one, mate. This is the big issue that I had last year with Jonas. Like we slipped up against teams like Spurs, didn't we?
Yeah.
Especially it was away from home. It was away from home, weren't it? We lost to them, didn't we? Did we lose to 1-0?
Yeah, we lost 1-0, yeah.
Yeah, we lost 1-0. Like this kind of shows you, right, where we was last year to where we are now under new management, doesn't it? In terms of like the performances that we're now getting out of these players, like out the Russos. Do you know what I mean? And other players, to be fair.
Yeah. She's brought a stability to the squad, isn't she? She's, players know, what positions they're going to be playing in. It's not just a knock-up team one week and then it's completely different the next week. I think they've got confidence in her as well. She has brought like a new vavavoom to that team. Do you know what I mean? She's kind of picked them up because literally Jonas played them girls into the ground and they didn't want to play for him at the end. We could all see that in the performances. Some of these players now who are putting in terrible performances this time last year have completely spun it around. But for me on the weekend, that goal from Emily Fox, I mean, I love Emily Fox. She's just absolutely class, and she doesn't get too many goals, as I'm sure Catherine will say in the comments. But
Yeah.
to pull that one out of the hat for the 5th goal was a peach. Yeah. I mean, the missus was there with my sister, and actually she's got a season ticket for the women's over there, so I hear it all when we come back, and it was great to see Chloe Kelly come on and make her a long-awaited debut back at the club where she started. I've been a big fan of her throughout her whole career, to be fair, with Chloe Kelly, and it's so humbling and glad to see her back where she belongs. And I hope it's not just for till the end of the season. I hope we can give her a contract going into next season because she's a great player, and she on her day she can come on, she can start games, she can be that difference maker. And with the likes of rumours of Beth Mead, this potentially could be her last season at the club. She's still got age on her side.
Where's she
I
going?
don't know.
Then?
Yeah, it could be America, stuff like that. So be interesting to see because there's a few rumours flying about. But yeah, it was just great to see her, and it's always great to beat them mob down the road, isn't it? The special bunch. But yeah, brilliant. 5-0. North London is red. The men's and the women's doing things, putting everything right in the world.
And another Caldente goal. Like, what an impact she's made into the team.
Yeah, quality, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, quality, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. We're seeing what she's bringing for Spain. Do you know what I mean? Her performances she did for Spain is now starting to go over into club form, and especially for us, it's great to see.
One sec, the cat's crying. She wants to come in. Come on. Come in.
All the pussy's lovely.
Sorry, mate. She's a proper diva. She's a proper diva, this one, mate. And I don't want the boys woken up either.
She wants to start on Saturday, does she?
Yeah.
If she's any good going forward, stick her up there.
Well, yeah. We should definitely bite their ankles. I'll tell you that much.
Well, don't let her go near Saka. We need him. He's only
She is.
Our new January signing. Where have you been?
We're just going over to you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
On obviously we were discussing all that. I was going to go on to the Chloe Kelly. Obviously, Jones has brought her up. Do you think she can be a mainstay in his team? Do you think we can kind of get them get her into the club full time? Like, she'll obviously definitely give us more options, won't she? In attack, and it's good for the rotational side of the game, isn't it? In terms of like keeping it fresh, keeping the competition going, but also having them really, really good players that can kind of come on and make impacts in game. Like, we know what she's done for England. We know she's obviously scored the winning goal to win the Euros for us. I think this is a really shrewd move to bring her back to the club.
Yeah, I think it's a move kind of she wanted wanted herself as well, isn't it? From the reception she got when she came on against Spurs, the fans still love her, and what she's achieved at Man City as well. They brought her on another level as well, in fairness, But look, you can never have too much experience, a winning mentality. And like herself and Katie McCabe, having two like that in a dressing room. But like that whole Arsenal women's squad is full of quality, isn't it? Randy Sleggers has done a great job. She's breathing new life into the team. But sadly, if she was given the start of the season, I say we would have been up there fighting with Chelsea for the title. We're battering teams again. Russo's on fire. Caldente was a shrewd sign, and pity we can't put her in the men's side. Maybe I wonder would Alessa Russo stick herself in for the end of the season as a striker. We can't do any harm there. We stick Sterling in the women's side. But
Change her,
They can't do
change her
any
name
worse.
to Alex Russell.
Rachel Sterling
There
would
you go,
call him. No, but look, yeah, I have to say, look, I was quite ignorant of the fact of the women's name all night. I've really taken it up the last last 2-3 seasons. I think the exposure they've gotten off Sky, BT, and BBC, all the football there, it's been great, and the standard of football is a joy to watch. It really is entertainment football. And they deserve all the credit they get, and I hope it goes from strength to strength. But yeah, I think you have to say hand on heart, they probably will offer Chloe Kelly, a contract come the end of the season. It's a no-brainer, isn't it, just to have that experience for the season ahead then as well. She's a serial winner. What more can you ask for?
Exactly. You need them players who can score in the big moments. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think she'll kind of offer us that. And do you know what? Go back to the Chelsea game. I thought we played really good against Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? I think so unlucky to lose that game in the end, and it was good to see. Do you know what I mean? That we weren't just sitting there and just turning up for the occasion. No, we actually went there and give them a game, and give them a scare. And I just think if we can get the right players in the summer, do you know what I mean? I'm pretty much the same. I think Bev might go this summer. Do you know what I mean? I think it kind of adds up a little bit. Unbelievable servant for us. She'll be massively missed in that team, to be fair. But do you know what I mean? We need to move forward, don't we? And like where we need to get to is back to the top of the pyramid of the women's game. And you're competing with a juggernaut in terms of Chelsea, and it's not easy, is it, whatsoever? But I feel like we're in much better hands now, and I just feel that obviously that you ain't going to get the slip-ups that you had in the past. Like the Birmingham, we lost to Birmingham. Like, mate, scratch your head. How'd you lose them? I remember we lost to West Ham. Like, how have we lost that game? Do you know what I mean? Tottenham. How have we lost that game? I don't feel like you're going to get that anymore with this team and under Wasega's in terms of what she's doing there. So I think she's done an incredible job. I think it'd be interesting to see how we kind of play out the Champions League there this season. And look forward to the summer to obviously kind of strengthen. And as I said to you before, I think with all the games being played at the Emirates, it's such a massive attraction, isn't it, for if you as a female player to be potentially moved to Arsenal or be considered by Arsenal. It's got to be a big factor. If you're being told you're going to play in a 60,000 stadium every game, it's no brainer to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did it finish on the week? It was at 58,000, I think.
57,000.
Oh, there you go. For people that say there's not an audience for it, there is an audience for it. Do you know what I mean? And when you're better in Spurs, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Very passionate audience. Like, let's be honest, we have got such a big fan base in the female game, and we know people that obviously lead that way. Do you know what I mean? We know quite a few people that lead that way of done an incredible job over the last few years. But we've got to remember with them people, they were there when they were going Boreham Wood. Do you know what I mean? When there was a few thousands.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to see the teams playing in the men's stadiums now, because you can see the quality's moved up since they've playing in those type of stadiums. The only one kind of not adapting that is the West Ham side, really, isn't it? I don't think they've played in the London Stadium, have they? The women's side?
No, they haven't.
No.
The only team,
Yeah. Like the attendance they're getting is quite incredible, like the exposure, it's been long overdue, probably, probably ignorant of the fact of it, really, but long may it continue, it's great exposure for Arsenal as well, so, and it's really, I have to say, the games are really entertaining to watch, especially, particularly this season. There's plenty of goals in the games, but, the standard is, quite incredible, I have to say, it's really, really been a great job from the footballing side of it,
You know what was really refreshing as well was seeing Saka there. Saka watching
Yeah.
with his partner.
Miles Skelly was there as well.
And it was really
you're right there, to see the men's side taking an interest, I think it means a lot to the players on the pitch as well, doesn't it? When you see the men's players taking time to watch them, you're doing something right there, 100%, yeah.
Just being swiped by the cat.
Oh, no.
I hope you won't be out injured for work now, Liam.
It's quite injured.
We can't afford another injury.
It's not the first time someone with a pussy's attacked you, is it?
I didn't want to say that
comment,
myself.
mate. Absolute no comment. We're not going down this road. We're not going down this road, Mr. Brooks.
No, I won't say anything else.
No, hopefully the Arsenal women's side can push further till the end of the season and make it. I know Chelsea have all wrapped up, but it'd be nice to finish even second from the start of the season that we had under Jonas Eideveld, wouldn't it? To finish and to competing with Chelsea. Yeah,
they're still in the FA Cup, aren't they? Is that correct?
They are, yeah.
They can still win the cup.
Yeah. It's Liverpool. Yeah. I think we've got Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got, it's Liverpool, isn't it? Bit of a shame, like the League Cup, weren't it? Lost in the semi-final to Man City.
Yeah.
Last minute, weren't it? What a choker that was.
So the quarterfinals for the Women's Cup, Liverpool.
Yeah. Is it the quarterfinal?
Quarterfinals, yeah.
Sorry to beat them then.
Yeah.
So you'd have to fancy us against Liverpool, if we're being totally honest. But do you know what I mean? All's played for. Like if she can get to a cup final in her first season, and do you know what I mean, and do well in the Champions League. Like let's be honest, she was on a hiding. We was pretty much at the title race by the time she took over because how bad that start was. So, and we've always said it in a women's game, you can only afford to lose 1-2 games at most. It's ridiculous, but that's the difference, isn't it? That's where Chelsea they just bully the rest of the teams. We're being totally honest. Like they actually got taken to the 90th. They got taken to the 90th minute this week, didn't they? They actually scored a last-minute winner against Everton.
Yeah,
which was quite surprising. But that's very here or there, isn't it? So it is going to be hard. I'm surprised that Chelsea haven't got you'd have expected them to won a Champions League, wouldn't you? But they haven't gone that next step at the moment. I think just due to the supremacy of the Barcelona team.
Yeah, that Barcelona team is absolutely ridiculous. A lot of the players they got in that team, it's crazy.
They did give a good game though last year, Chelsea, didn't they? It was a tight game, wasn't it? Up to about 70th minute in the second leg, I think. So yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, anything for you, John? I know obviously you was away on Sunday.
Yeah, no, not really.
We'll leave that one there.
Yes, sir. No better answer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. No secrets, no lies.
Just one last thing. Obviously, just come to my head. Don't worry. I'm going to go to you first, John, this one, so you can answer this question first. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel's first squad's going to come out very soon, isn't it, for next month? What kind of surprises are you expecting in there? Are you expecting new players to be able to come in? Because I know, obviously, in terms of the last few games before we took over, we was trialing a lot of young players, and it kind of succeeded in some ways, didn't it? What do you actually expect? What players do you think could break in?
I think it'd be quite exciting. I think, he'll go. I think people are in there. I think Emaneri and Miles Skelly will be in there. I think Lewis Hall and Newcastle. What I like to see in there. Yeah, I think he will. I wouldn't even be surprised if Benham's brother at Sunderland gets in there. I can see there being a few surprises. I think it'll be great. I mean, he's going to be picking a lot of young people because he'll be looking to the future for future tournaments. I think a lot of people like Harry Maguire and that, I'd be surprised, not picking on him, but I'd be surprised if they're in it. I think it's good. He's, he's a foreigner as such, but he's coming in and he's taking a completely fresh look at it. I don't even believe he's even been an international manager before. So it's obviously new for him as well. I think it's exciting, I have to say. I mean, it does make me laugh at some of the English press, like the other day, moaning because, he's been allowed to take time off to do this, to do that. It started already, just give the guy a break. I mean, he's not been taken, official first day of training yet, and they're already cutting him off. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it'll be a decent squad. I think it'll be good. I think there'll be quite a few surprises. But I think people who haven't had a chance that are doing well for the unfashionable clubs, if you will. I think they will. I think Marvin Rodgers of Villa, he'll be in it as well. I think he's a brilliant player. I think it'll be decent, I have to say.
Yourself, Jonesy?
I don't know with England, to be fair, mate. I'm still not Southgate's reign. I'm suffering the trauma still.
Oh,
That.
God. It
That's
can't
why-
be the worst.
But no, yeah, I'm hoping like he goes for like the likes of Rodgers, Lewis Hall, and Namwari and Lewis Skelly. I want to see a fresh England along with the likes of Bellingham,
Mm.
and I reckon Kane will thrive under Tuchel. I do see like a second wind coming from Kane. I think that Bayern Munich move is really going to help him and stuff like that. So I still expect to see Kane up there, but with the likes of the Lap and some young English. Ollie Watkins, I'm hoping
Watkins,
gets a few more England games under his belt. But yeah, I agree with Brooksy. Give the guy a chance, man. Like all the English managers are shit, right? Simple as that. So if we want to win something, we have to look to other countries for a manager. It's as simple as that. If our own country manager can't do it, then we have to get someone else. But give the guy a break. At the end of the day, we're all hoping for the same thing. He brings a World Cup or a European Championships to this country. So for fuck's sake, back him. You know what I mean?
Anything for you, Jonathan?
I'm still hoarding after the hiding we got at Wembley back in November. I think it can only be. I think it can only be exciting times for yourselves, certainly not for us back here. But no, it can only be a matter of time, can't it? The talent you are getting in the Premier League. Like when you see the likes of for ourselves, Nanworthy, Skelly, Lewis Hall of Newcastle, as John said. Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa. They're young players, but they're miles ahead. And that's the good thing, and they're gaining European football experience as well. They can bring it into the international scene, and Tuchel, I think, it could be a bit of fresh air. I thought Southgate done quite a good job for you. In fairness, I think he deserved probably to win either, the World Cup or the European Cup. I thought he done a very good job for you. But he was probably he probably gave too much respect to some players, and not to drop them. Maybe that was a thing that Southgate had. But look, the way the Republic of Ireland are going, I prefer to be an England fan than an Irish fan, so I leave it at that. If we could steal a few players from yourselves under the granny rule, I'd appreciate it.
I was going to say back to see if you could produce us another Declan Rice or Jack Grealish.
I
still haven't forgiven him for that, but luckily.
And then again, bang the both goals in. You couldn't make it up, could you?
You couldn't write it.
No.
Yeah, it's just.
I think.
Yeah, look, I have to say, if Namweary and Skelly does get a go in March, as you said, Liam, I just hope we don't get any unnecessary injuries with them. That would be my worry. But hopefully they're not at that stage yet of getting an England call up. But it can't be far away, really, can it? They're really doing superb this season under Arteta.
Yeah. I think for me, I think it's good. I think it's a really shrewd move, Thomas Tuchel. I think he's not the kind of guy that you give shit to, is he? Whatsoever. I think he'll demand. He doesn't even need to demand it. He'll get the respect from the changing room. This is a geezer that's gone and won the Champions League with Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? He's gone and won the biggest trophy as such, and that's what we need. That's what we need him now to do in the international football, is go and win the biggest trophy in terms of obviously the World Cup, but the Euros. I know, obviously, is obviously the other big trophy that we need to win. But I'm intrigued to see what he does in terms of certain personnel and certain positions. Do you know what I mean? Like centre midfield is definitely an area that we need to button down now. I think in the Euros. It was the Euros, wasn't it? In the Euros, let's be honest, our centre midfield was not good whatsoever. I don't know how we got through to the final, because Declan Rice seemed to be a player that was literally on his last legs at that point. And Alex Arnold went in there, he couldn't do a job, and it was a mismatch, weren't it? And how does he get the best out of them centre midfielders? Who does he bring in to kind of do it? How does he play Declan Rice? Does he play him in the 6? Does he play him in the 8? I think there's a lot of questions to be kind of answered. Centre backs, yet again, who's he going to play as his two natural centre backs moving forward? Who are his full backs going to be? I think the goalkeeping situation at the moment, sadly, still remains Pickford's because let's be honest, there's no one competing.
No one else.
Then that's I think that's quite damning, mate. If I'm being totally honest, I think that's quite damning that Pickford's really got no competition. And I think it's really disappointing in terms of Ramsdale, in terms of where his career's gone over the last 2 years. I'm not putting that on our foot boat whatsoever because, like, I think there is a bit on his side. I do think that it was a poor choice that where he's gone to. A very poor choice.
Very poor. There must have been someone else.
Very poor choice. So they're the issues. You know what I mean? Like up top, let's be honest, we've got abundance of riches. Like you said, we got Harry Kane. He'll come under a second win under Tuchel, 100%. Do you know what I mean? Saka, like probably been England's best player for the last 2-3 years. How does he get Phil Foden playing? Do you know what I mean? Phil Foden doesn't turn up for in an England shirt.
Doesn't turn up all season for country.
Exactly. So what happens with him? Do you know what I mean? Marcus Rashford, is this move to Aston Villa going to reunite him? Will he get back into England squad? Ollie Watkins, yet again, scored again yesterday. Is he going to be get given even more of an opportunity?
What to do with Cole Palmer? I mean, he's been dreadful recently, by the way. He disappeared for the last month. You not seen him?
Well, do you know what, right? I think Cole Palmer's a really good player, yeah, right? But I think there was too much hype too soon about him. Do you know what I mean? I think we went over the top about him a little bit. Like, I'm not saying extremely over the top, but all this stuff like world-class player,
because he scored in the final. That's the only reason.
But do you know what? Like, that doesn't make you a world-class player. Do you know what I mean? It makes you a very good player, obviously. But for me, world-class is totally different. World-class, you've got to be doing it season in, season out, season in, season out. Putting up the numbers like Mo Salah. That's world-class. Mo Salah's world-class. Do you know what I mean? How much we hate it, Haaland, when he finishing-wise, is world-class. Do you know what I mean? Kylian Mbappe, I think, is now going to that next level that I've been saying. Is he going to go to that next level? Well, I think now we can say he is going to that next level, world class. But Cole Palmer, do I say he's world class? No, he's not world class at the moment. But do you know what I mean? I think he's got to be given time. But I do think he's got. Yet again, it's where do you field him in that team? Where do you field him in that team? That's the problem. Jude Bellingham.
I think you're making the Irishman cry.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We're heading to about Jude Bellingham. Like, there's so many riches, isn't there?
I think the Arsenal are enough to make me cry.
But there's so many riches. There's so many riches
After
in
watch
attack.
last November, we got.
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah,
if he don't pick Sterling, we're done.
I think it's safe to say that he's out of the squad.
Imagine we picked him.
No, sir, he's going into the women's team. Jones, you're out, right?
And lastly, Trent Arnold. I think he will play him. Is someone actually going to try and accommodate him into the team? Because let's be honest, I think that he should be right back, whether he can defend or not. Do you know what I mean? I think he should play there. My personal opinion. And I still can't believe that Southgate had him sitting on the bench most of the time.
Crazy.
You're telling me you couldn't get someone to work on his defensive. I mean, there's not to be moaning about Ashley Cole, but you could get him as defensive coach. Go and learn with him.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the squad. I'm actually looking forward to watching them for once, but probably after the first game, I'll probably tell you that I'm back to square one again.
All the Arsenal players are injured.
Bring back the Premier League. Anyway, that's it for tonight, chap. So, Jonathan, just want to say thank you very much, mate.
Cheers. Thanks very much, lads. A pleasure coming on again. I always love to laugh. Even though I am crying inside, you know. A few more wounds opened up. Happy days.
He won't be able to sleep tonight now.
I might send him a little text after. Just
crying himself to sleep in his Declan Rice England pillow.
Yeah, that is below the belt. I don't think I'll be inviting you onto any podcast again.
Mate, we'll get lynched.
Jones, I have to half and half pillow.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me on. I'm going to watch some Baywatch now and Bravo.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't sleep on Yasmin Bleeth. That's
We know what you're doing later then.
I can see the table. Hasselhoff, look off, all right.
He'll have his little red pants on, won't he?
Please, someone be running down the way.
And Mr. Brooks, yourself, thank you very much again, boy.
Always a pleasure, son. Always a pleasure.
We will be back next Thursday where we'll do a deep dive into the West Ham game on Saturday, and we'll look at Forest, and hopefully by that point we'll have a better idea of where the title race is, and hopefully we're a few more points closer. So fingers crossed. Obviously, I just want to thank everyone in the chat for obviously joining us tonight. Obviously, all your comments are always really appreciated and welcome. And yeah, so we go forward to Saturday. It's hammer time. Hopefully, we smash them. Good night.